Hi there, this is Kat Ramirez, CEO and founder of Advertise and hashtag Social Buzz. Woo! Today I have a really special guest who helps veterans go from a war hero to superhero. And I love that. I love his tagline, I love the theme, and I love what he's doing. So without further ado, let me bring on Daniel. But before I bring on Daniel, if you've never been a part of my live broadcast, please drop a comment. This is what social media is all about. So if you have any questions for Daniel as we're talking, drop a comment. If there's someone that you know that should be tuning in or listening, tag them. And if there is any questions that you have for me or you want to reach out, DM me. I will put Daniel's contact information and everything in the post. So don't worry about that, so that you can find him very easily. So as we move this along, I hope this page blows up with all kinds of comments and questions. So let me bring Daniel on board. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. You can hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you just great.
Awesome. So Daniel was just telling me before the show that he had to go from his other job to now his other jobs. He's like, he's becoming Superman himself, right, Daniel?
Yeah, from one uniform to another. Yes, that is the key. And then probably back to that uniform right after this.
Oh, that's awesome. So can you give everybody a little background about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name's Daniel Faust. I'm a 20-year Air Force veteran. During the day, education and training. During the night, transforming lives from war heroes to superheroes. We help people change and transform their marriages, their family, and their leadership. So instead of just transitioning back to civilian life, that's like saying it's like if you became a mom or dad, you transition back to being single and kidless. It's just not right. You always transform. So we help you transform from the bedroom to the boardroom. We do that through a podcast show, and we also do that through a TV network. We recently acquired Guiding Star, which is a veterans TV network, and we're also going to be broadcasting through Simul TV. So if you're also looking to be on our veterans TV network, we would love for you to join us if you have and you impact military veterans or first responders' lives. So that's
Okay, and that's wonderful. So why did you get started doing this? What was the whole premise of you wanting to launch this and do this type of mission here?
Well, basically, my life got destroyed in all those areas from the bedroom to the boardroom. Like, got married, didn't know how to operate my marriage, even though I had a faith. I knew all the quote unquote vertical principles, but not to live it out horizontally with my wife. And in year 7, and everything collapsed, and I had to reboot and change my life. Instead of just transitioning to getting married, I needed to transform into marriage and do the same thing with my kids. I had to transform in being a father, and especially being a military dad, and then transform when I came out of the civilian life around the same time, because year 7, just everything collapsed from bedroom to boardroom. It was just one of those things I had to reboot one at a time. And that's what I always recommend my guests. It's like, you just don't go transform, reboot, change your entire life. You grab one room that's most important to you. And we recommend the bedroom first, because if you don't have your spouse on board with you, you can bring the kids and the work, but everything collapses behind it. So that's why we go from bedroom to boardroom. And I saw this is needed for veterans in itself, and also first responders, because we just go in and we're always saving the day in the boardroom or in the war room. We're not saving the day in our bedrooms and living rooms, and that's going to last. Our boardrooms will last a minute, if that. It goes in a blink of an eye. If we're doing it right, we can have all 3 going over and thriving instead of just one just surviving.
Right. Now, are you helping more male veterans or female, or can you give me kind of the demographics there?
I mean, our main demographics for us right now, for where our staff is at, is I would prefer a 25 to 55-year-old male that's struggling within their marriage, family, leadership. As we go over and grow and we find more war hero to superhero, we'll expand on that. We don't decline females if they come to us. It's just that's just not my niche. I mean, in that particular regard, we always want to give the best of the best. So if our services don't fit, then we refer on. But eventually, we want to have those female veterans, female first responders, and also eventually then have all those coverings. So as we go, but if we can't serve it, we go find those people that do, and we empower. So if I let's say it goes into counseling compared to consulting, because a transformation is more about consulting because you got to be cognitive, you got to be functional. If you're dealing with past stuff that is hanging you up, picking you up, that's when I'm going to bring a counselor in that regard and partner with them in that particular regard. But as we grow, we want to go over and do more, but we don't want to jump into other people's lanes. Our goal is for you to have the best transformation possible. And as a business, you never want to do everything. I mean, Amazons are the rare, Walmarts are the rare in the sense of doing everything. Our goal is we'd rather do a few things exceedingly well than do a lot of things like mediocre.
Right. Right. No, that makes sense. I think the thing that I see, and probably you see it too, running your business, is that it's very hard for veterans and then men on top of that to open up, right? And really ask for help or really, talk about things that they need help with. Do you find that to be kind of the
Yeah,
situation?
I do. I do. That's been the hardest part. I usually get more females that gravitate towards my audience than anything else because I'm the softer side of a guy in that particular regard. But the thing of it is, and the matter of it is that, if males are leading the home just as much as females are leading the home, then it's going to be a balanced approach and everybody's going to thrive. If one just goes over and drops off, and typically, I hate to say it, based on statistics, if the male drops off, it's like it's harder for the female to step up because they are want to be emotionally connected with their husbands or their coworkers and things of that nature. And we still have this glass ceiling world. So we want everybody to lift everybody up. So I focus where I'm gifted at. And then as we grow people, we focus where they're gifted at. But yeah, I would say for males specifically, it's like we kind of pull ourselves by our bootstraps until we snap. And
Yep.
literally, we're never meant to pull ourselves by our bootstraps in that particular regard. Yes, to rise up, to go over and to grow and to go past yourself, but not to the point that you break yourself.
Right, right. And I think it's just to get other people who are watching that or listening that are not veterans to understand that the transition part is probably the most difficult because you get used to a function, a role where sometimes you're deployed or you're not home all the time. And so your spouse or your significant other is really managing the household, just being both the parents a lot of times. And I think some people don't understand that that can be really difficult to go from, I have a purpose, I have a mission, I'm doing this every day, and now I have to become a parent or I have to become a spouse. Do you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like that's probably the types of things that you're dealing with or trying to help people deal with, right?
Yeah, and most people just wait until almost everything is collapsing. Most clients that call me, they're fiscally collapsing, their marriage is on the rocks and edge, they're having distance with their kids and whatnot. And then sometimes they can't go over and afford the services to even go over and do that. So we do have a Patreon ranging from $5 to $100 a month if they want to become that marriage superhero, family superhero, leadership superhero, advanced superhero tactics, or in the superhero sanctum. Those are the 5 levels we have, so they can start being proactive instead of waiting until they're reactive. We still keep our costs to keep with the average veteran because I know the average veteran makes 25 to 85,000 while they're active duty. They can range more or less depending on the veteran they are when they transition out. But we try to keep our prices at a nominal point, and we do a lot of podcasting. We publish books, and we try to give them power to proactively pursue instead of reactively wait. That's the same thing happens in counseling. Most people wait until the marriage is on the rocks. They'll go to a counselor. They have to be diagnosable. Most people don't understand it. Like, oh, I'd rather go to a counselor. I'm like, you're going to wait until everything breaks. And then you're only going to get 12 sessions and you're going to take 15, 25, 10, whatever, how many years of junk. And you're expecting to be healed in 12 sessions. If you're schizophrenic and your spouse is bipolar, yeah, you're going to get declared medically. You can keep going. And those are the
Right.
But if you just are like, hey, I'm angry at my wife, I'm angry at my husband, I'm realizing it's a communication issue. If they can't get it resolved in 12 sessions, you're gone. That's
Right.
it. That's all you
Right.
get. So we want to be here for the longevity of you being proactive, reactive compared to, I mean, not reactive. We want to be proactive and progressive compared to reactive and regressive.
Right, right. No, I think that sounds fabulous. Now, I know you can't talk about particular situations and stuff, but
Mhm.
are there any like success stories that you can share, or you know what I mean? Like stuff that really stand out that you're like, I'm so glad we were part of that. Like, we helped this person.
There was a few here and there. We had a couple a while ago, premarital consulting that we did back in Ohio, and they were very thankful for understanding the information. People that have come to my communication classes, those things, we've had those feedback. We're realizing more that people will find you way after. Getting those testimonies are more about way far in the future. Like I'll find people like I found him like on the air show. It's like I've been watching your stuff every day and it's so helpful. I'm like, who are you? Um, so I've been even seeing in that in the transformational world as consulting and coaching and everything else is that to find the people that get all those testimonies. I've been reading a book called Superfans on how to go grow that. Out of every roughly 10,000 passive followers that you're going to do, you're going to probably only have a couple that are going to be
Yeah.
super fans that are going to be those testimonies. So for me, it's like I do the work. I'm not expecting much thank yous. The only reason I use them for is to boast to help more people. So we've had a few here and there. It's just you have to be prepared in this type of world. Like the same thing yourself in social media. It's just like you go over and you like, oh, I got 10,000 views on my thing, but how many people actually turned around to be clients?
Right,
Two,
right.
5, 10, unless you tasered them and gave them money and they gave it back or or you're at the point that you have a funnel that has hundreds or millions of people, you might be only helping that those millions of people are watching. You might be helping like thousands
Right.
of people in an active way. So for us right now, as we're growing, and we know that the TV media is going to be the
Mhm.
huge boast, and we want to help those veterans too that want to get on there on Simul TV. Is that when we have access to 60 million set tops boxes, which is 200 million people across 182 countries, that's when we'll see the increase. So our goal and our heart is not only just to help us to go over and grow and to help more veterans, but overall veteran entrepreneurs to want to go over and grow their stuff. So we just have to be realistic that my testimonies are few and far between, but I'm okay with that as
Yep.
long as I'm helping the people. And it might be for a couple sessions. That's the best thing about our service is that you go to a counselor, they're going to want you to go to those 12 sessions and go out and you're like, oh, I'm mandated or I'm going through divorce counseling or whatever. I've had people that gone on my books. They had 2, 3 sessions. They you gave us so much impact. And this was a couple back in Washington, and he was a radio show host and used to be pastor and everything else. And got to like the third session, he was like, "I've taken so much from you. It's like a fire hose. I need time to absorb." And
Right.
so thankful. But those are the types of testimonies I'll get afterwards. So we just have to, I think, in our career path, we have to be prepared that yes, I do get the thank yous, but I'm a more about the transformation. So if I have to see it in the next place, in the next plane, then that's where it's going to be.
Right. No, that's fabulous. So let's talk about your lives because you do them daily, right?
3 days a week. We used to do them
Okay.
every day.
Okay.
And that's what we learned about the metrics. Most people watch Tuesday through Thursdays. We do them 6
Okay.
p.m. Our TV show is once a week. Once we go full time, I could go back to every day. That's the blessing of how I'm wired. I could give content every single day. It's just that I want to serve the audience, and what the
Yep.
metric is saying is like Tuesday through Thursday around this time is usually best.
Yeah. And so what do you talk about so that if somebody is tuning in or they catch later, what are you talking about so that they're enticed to go tune in?
So for right now, we did a year of themes. We always ask if the audience wants anything. They're specifically looking what it is. They can choose the theme for the month, but we try to do a theme a month. So this month's theme is thankfulness, and this was
Okay.
even before COVID and everything else. And we want to say how to be thankful in the bedroom to your spouse and what gifts that he or she goes over and gives you. How do you go and be thankful for your children and breed that into the culture with your kids past Thanksgiving? And this week is thankfulness in the boardroom. And we're going to be talking about tonight about the appreciation languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. And if you learn to appreciate your coworkers in the way that you love your kids and your spouse, not in the same
Mhm.
exact way, of course, because it's different. You're not going to go to be all physical, touchy, pre or post COVID, with certain coworkers and whatnot. But if you understand that and you give those things, then you can be thankful throughout the year, and then you can change your demeanor and change your tone and rewrite the script, and
Right.
not just angry, depressed veterans and first responders that we can be like, we serve, but we don't serve with thankfulness. So that's what we're talking about this week.
Okay, that's fabulous. So you probably have now a nice collection of podcasts, are there where there somebody can re-listen to them? Do you have them housed somewhere, Daniel?
Several locations. So we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch. Thanks you to my son. I didn't know Twitch was a podcasting world. So I'll give my son a shout out on that. So when
That's nice.
he's thank me because he's only 13 right now. He's like, Dad. And then where else are we at? We will be on. We don't know if Simul TV will have an RMTP.
Okay.
We are on Podopolo. Podopolo is a dynamic interactive podcasting app. So if anybody's looking to grow their podcasting reach and everything else, we're doing a beta test with them, and we'll be streaming live to them hopefully in the next month or so once they get their RMTP up and rolling, and we have replay of that. So an average 3 episodes a week for the past 6 months. We were doing 5 days a week for the other 6 months. So I have about say 100, 150
I was
episodes.
about to say, I know you have a bunch.
Yeah. I don't get caught up in like, oh, I got to 100. Like one of my guys, Ben Kilgray, great military vet dad. He goes really in deep and he does great weekly podcasts. He's gotten to his 100, but I'm like, someone's gonna have to tell me one day, like, Daniel, you did like 1,000 episodes. I'm like, as long as I got the content and I got a
Yeah.
camera, I'm gonna go. And someone's gonna tell me one day, like, you did 10,000 episodes, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, as long as it's transforming lives, that's great. I don't care if I have 100. I don't care if I have 1,000. I don't care if I have 1,000,000. It's like, it's not. If people said, hey, they hate me and everything's horrible, well, then there's no point. But yes, we have a lot of content out there in multiple places. One point, I was doing 5 to 6 streams a day on all separate platforms before StreamYard. So I
Oh
want to
my God.
you for StreamYard, and also Patty Catter. Patty Catter is a military spouse that helps me, saying like, hey, Tuesday through Thursday is your best to go orchestrate your mind and your heart and everything else and your energy. And then you gave StreamYard to us and sent a referral. So that was fantastic for that, because I was like, I was doing every single one. I was contextualizing every single platform.
Oh my God.
I mean, I could do it, but at the end of the day, you're like,
You're exhausted.
you're exhausted, and then you're like, do I really need organic content every single place? Give me 17 shirts. I mean, maybe. I remember my pastor friend doing that. He was like,
Right.
he did like a taping thing. He's like, oh, I have like a bunch of shirts in the closet, and we're just taping. I mean, I could do it, but yeah, those two things were blessings in that regard. So I think my content's gotten more richer because I've gone more theme and gone more of that. And then even the WarHero superhero interviews, which you were on, those have really helped bolster the veterans and also bolster our stuff.
Yeah. That was the other question I was going to ask you is how do veterans find out about you? How do they gravitate toward you?
Facebook is a good way.
Okay.
Military marriage counseling az.com. We played with the word counseling. So just so you know, we explain on the website we do consulting, but everybody's still mentally on the counseling realm. So we expect another 5 years before consulting and coaching actually gravitates as a normative. But
Okay.
you got to go where the SEO goes sometimes. So it's a play on words. I'm like, we can counsel you to the here and now, which that's what consulting is. We also, we do have WarHero to SuperHero.tv. Hopefully by the beginning of the year, we have the domain. We're also opening up a Veterans Transformation Center called Veterlands. We're working on the domain on that. It'll be a different domain because Veterlands was bought. Yeah, crazy. It's a weird name, and you think it's like domain's not there, but yeah, multiple places they can find. But Facebook Instant Message, Linkbook Instant Message, that's the fastest way to go over and find us for now. Once we get to 1,000 people in the Patreon or 25 TV shows under our digital TV network, that's
Yep.
when I will replicate myself. So until that point, you have direct access to me.
Okay, that's awesome. And then your podcasts, because you do have guests on your podcast.
Mhm.
What type of guests are you prospecting or looking for that, if they're watching this, should reach out to you? Like what types of podcasting guests?
Yeah, I'm looking for guests next week specifically, 3 to 5 guests. We'll do up to five. Three is preferred, and they're veterans that have had that transformational story. They or first responders. They either got out of the first responding world or got out of the military world. They realized like or maybe they had a really positive experience, and we want to hear that transformational story. What put that on? Even people that are working in the military, veteran, first responder space, because we do honorary war heroes, superheroes, like Patty Catter is a male spouse, but her transformation in the veteran space and what she goes over and does was an honorary war hero, superhero. It's like, what made you go from here to usually here and then come back out, or what made you get that aha moment to go over and do that? And then we uplift you the entire episode during that time. It's not about us, it's about you. And we uplift your nonprofits, your for-profits, connect with resources, and then you have an opportunity to go on our TV show, War Hero to Superhero. So we go more in depth into your story, we dive in. So if you get the most views in 72 hours via the Facebook algorithm. So all you have to do is tell your friends, watch 3 seconds. That's it. It's 3 seconds. It's like, yeah, I prefer you to watch all 22 minutes and 11,
Right.
but watch the 3, and then we uplift that episode, and then we put that up. Like Michael Lecter was one of our Superhero Sanctum guests.
Okay.
So that's the way they can do that. So they have an awesome story. They might even think they have a mediocre story. Just send it. I'm the one that's gonna make that decision. Don't downplay yourself. Like, oh, I've only like served like 10,000 people, and that person served 500,000. Like, it's your transformational story. It's your
Right.
story, never theirs. Because if I say, oh, I'm not Gary Vandercheck, I'll never go on a podcast. Start small and you go from there.
I agree. And the marketing person in me always lets people know, or business owners know, or veterans know, if you have a transformational story and you are an entrepreneur, this is a great way to have another piece of content that you have to share with people, because people do like authentic, real stories from people, and they want to hear, they want to know. I think they're more inquisitive about that than a lot of times when you talk about your business, your business, your business. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, and I try to balance that out on a regular basis. So I'm doing like more in-depth content on Parlor,
Okay.
uh, place that found out. So I'm going to go more in depth of who I really am, because veterans typically are not ready for the entire of me, because I'm balanced with faith plus mission.
Gotcha.
So I'm going more there. Like, if you want to know the real, transparent, authentic me, that's the place I'm going to be. They protect the First Amendment a lot more in that particular place. So a lot of the veteran friends I've been seeing transition to that. So if they really want to get to know the in-depth of me, of that particular regard, it's either on through podcast interviews or through there. And I'm going to put some exclusive content. Just go on there and you're like, hey, you're not going to find it anywhere else. I'm not going to go duplicate or replicate that. So
Yep.
we all have a place for there. So yeah, I think that it's much important that we give that. I give nuggets every once in a while, like, hey, what's the name of my bunny? I got a bunny. I'm actually kind of frustrated with my bunny. um, those types of things. I mean, if you want to know that in depth of me, that's where I'm going to go over and share that. So
Okay. And then, just for the sake of repeating that, Parler. Can you
it's
spell that?
Parler. It's an app. It's kind of new.
Right.
Uh, Supposed to be protecting like the First Amendment, so people can put whatever they
Yep.
want in there. And I've tested out. I've only been in there for a couple of days. Obviously, you're going to get what you want, but you can filter. That's the nice part. It's just like, hey, I don't want this. So you can contextualize what's brought and what's not brought. So if you want a positive audience, you can block out the negative, and then you still can be authentically you at the same time. That's what I've seen from the app so far.
Yeah. And this is not the first time I've heard about this, because I've heard other people say, hey, are you on that? Have asked me. And just for the sake of people understanding and knowing, because I understand why it was created. because we're in social media. So I get why, because Facebook has really censored everything. So Facebook is now like has this team that goes and deletes or eliminates fake news. They do it on their own. And they're also going through the whole government system and court to trying to figure out why they're doing that, and do they
Yeah,
have the right to do it, you know? Um,
yeah, I saw that yesterday with Ted Cruz. He was,
yeah.
and everybody see. I think it's very interesting now that we do a video, so we have time to even go like, because if it was face to face, you're like I'll do it real people like that are connected to me. I'm like, you're shifting left. I'll be like, and when you shift left, that means you're tend to lying, so I can catch you a lot quicker. On the video, you're like, we meant this, and I'm like, your tone says different, but your eyes stayed straight because
Right.
you had time to shift your eyes back to cold callous. It was funny. It was like the guy, I think it was Twitter. He said, "We do it for this," and he's like, even his beard got straight.
Okay. Yeah. 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 So I've been watching that just because I am so engulfed in social media. And I have a lot of clients who kind of pissed that their posts or their ads got deleted or banned because they had one word or something that Facebook did not like. I mean, it just pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah. And I would say it's one of those things I've learned from several people, mentors I've learned, is that you can't just be in one particular place. Just like you can't have one revenue
Right.
business. So you have to go find where your niche is at, your people are at, but also at the same time, you have to be able to pivot. And if you can get their email or even their
Yes.
text option, that's even better. So I'm not the best at that because I haven't done it full time. I've been doing it part time, but that's one of those things I've been learning through super fans. Is like, hey, you give that captivating quick win and you go over and you get those people to become your super fans. And then whatever happens, if all the social media went out, then you could find a way to text message stuff, or you could go over and start doing snail mail, or you get the Pony Express again and get the horse and whatever you got to go over and do to serve your clients. Is just hopefully at the Pony Express that you have some people that can be cloned that you can get on that horse and ride.
That
And
is true. That's true.
message is coming instead of the red coats. My message is coming. My message is coming.
That's awesome. Okay, as we wrap this up, Daniel, what do you have in store for 2021? What's the big plan? What do you have going on?
Our goal is to do a soft launch of Guiding Star with access to Simul TV 2021. We were able to reduce down our costs. So if you're a military veteran, first responder, and you're wanting to get in the digital TV platform, which is going to interactive in the next couple of years, we are wanting to be the leading edge, and that is $300 a month. I can tell you about more
Oh,
about this.
nice.
If you're not a veteran and you still want to get into the digital TV space, it's only $500 a month. We onboard you, we teach you, we get you into that space. If you can do a podcast, even an audio one, which is antiquated and old, but if you can even do that, we can teach you how to do digital TV. So if you want to go over and do that, that's 2021. And we're also hopeful once contracts are signed, we move back to Arizona and we work for Veterans. Veterans is a transformational center that we want to plant in every part in the United States. We want to have 50 locations in 10 years. We're starting out in Arizona and California in 2021 to take the veteran homelessness population, basically eradicate it, and working with other like partners. We're not trying to compete. We're trying to complete and complement. And if there's in the areas that we see that, hey, veteran is homeless, we find them that they're faithful, available, teachable servants, and we pull them out. We have them come in, we take care of them, and we transform them from WarHero to SuperHero, so they don't get into that recidivism type cycle and get back into that. So that's the goal from 2021 on. And also on the TV shows, we want to get to, we'll have about 150 to 300 slots per network. So we really aggressively would want to fill at least 50 of those in each of those stations on the Guiding Star network, which will be empowered through Simul TV, and then also that other network that's on the civilian side. You can even start your own network if you want to. So if a veteran or military person wants their own network, we are going to go work with that too. So that's my 2 lanes I'll be working on in 2021 is Veteran Transformation Center. So I'll probably have lots of jobs coming up as we do things, and then also with the television stuff. And you can even earn revenue with us if you're not into doing TV, but you want to earn money by passing referrals. We can work that program too. We just want to grow the veteran transformation. We want you all to thrive. If you're doing all better than me, I did my job well.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. I love it. I love it. I think that's amazing. So how do people get a hold of you?
Just like saying Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere they're streaming this at all. Again, until I get to about 50 shows, I'll be actively available. I will be the main person. Same thing on the Veteran Transformation Center with Veterans. I will be the main person roughly for 2021. So you'll get the real human. You won't be like, I got a voicemail and got your client, blah, blah, blah. But so if you start not getting me, that means we've transformed so much that I hired another WarHero superhero consultant to
Nice.
mirror in that particular regard. So just direct access to me. Basically, they're allowing me to be the face and the name for veterans, which is really huge. And it's not about my presence, but it's about what has God has given me to then help that transform. Because I've been in that stage, almost homeless, and been in a place of struggling in the media world. And you're like, where do I go? What do I do? So that's basically it. So if people wanting to transform anything, 20 minutes free, every military veteran, first responder, if nothing else, if you're just like, hey, you play VR games, I want to play. That's fine. That's something of me. Hey,
Yeah.
buddy named Nibbles. Okay, that's 20 minutes. After that, then we're going to have to schedule a consultation. Any questions or comments there? We want to get them through their mess, their mental, emotional, social, spiritual junk, so they thrive. But if you just need to go BS for 20 minutes to get to know me, send me a text. Facebook's best. LinkedIn is secondarily. Our phone number is on our main page. That's my phone number. So if you're texting me at 3 a.m, it's going to be me responding at 6 saying like, it's a little early, but what's up? What you need?
What's the main page URL?
Just go find Daniel Faust on Facebook, and it's danielfaust.33. I guess it's that many. I didn't know there was that many Daniel Faust. But mine will say like, talk about WarHero to superhero, talk about my military career. I have my picture up there, and then we have one of our veteran shirts that we built called Beauty on there. So that's ever evolving and changing. So like I said, there's so many ways to get in contact with me. It's like it will all go eventually to this mini phone, and you'll get a 5'8" man texting on the phone to get back to you in contact. If I get too busy, I will get back to you ASAP. So we'll build systems. Don't worry.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. I love it. And that's fabulous. Well, Daniel, I so appreciate you coming on the show. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm a big fan and a big supporter. And if there's anything I can do, I certainly will. And again, if you are tuning in and you want more information from Daniel, please reach out to him.
Mhm.
And I will certainly put his contact information and his links on the posts that are out there. And so again, thank you for being on the show, Daniel. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. You have a great day.
Yes, absolutely. And then thank you for everybody who is watching and tuning in. I appreciate that. And so until next time, you got this. Let me see how I do.